Mr. Mulligan, the Cena thing should have been bigger. Sorry, but the no build-up and sudden turn didn't really work for me. Hogan worked because the outsiders built it up before it took place. Not saying heel Cena will be bad. I just don't agree with the supposed impact it had.
Did anybody see the clip on Instagram when it was? I'll just say Triple H because then I don't have to fucking say Paul Triple H. I'll just say Triple H was explaining when he spoke to Cena and John decided he was going to come back.
Yes.
And he said, would you, and this is Paul talking to John, said, do you want to just go to town, do your greatest hits, and be done December the 31st? Or would you like to try something that you haven't done before, turn heel, and fucking Cena sat there, heard the whole pitch, and John said, yeah, I'd like to try that. I'd like to. So to me, that tells me this is his last run.
Mm-hmm.
He's not worried about, he's doing something different. John is that guy. You know, he's going to do something different. So
Yeah.
when I heard that, it's just like, what more of it? You know, that would be the equivalent of saying, well, yeah, Cena's heel turn wasn't as effective because everybody in Toronto didn't throw fucking garbage in the ring.
Um, if you said that, I would agree that it was a dispassionate response to Cena's heel turn more so than something like the Hogan, which is what you're clearly referencing.
But Hogan was in a much smaller building, where like a 12,000 seat arena, as opposed to someplace they play fucking Major League Baseball.
You don't think that that the waning of the passion of the reaction now versus then had anything to do with the construction of the angle? You think it's things like building or
No, I think it's
if you had to tell me someone, Kevin, to turn that would piss the fans off, I probably would have said Cena.
yeah, I think it worked. But I think they're also, when I broke into the business, the marks were in the crowd. And then as the business went on, all of a sudden the marks were in the ring. This is, I mean, I'm shooting. I mean, there's marks in the ring. So, and now everybody thinks they're smart, that watches it, and they've used terms like, oh, he can work, and, you know, I almost popped. I not almost. I did pop when Cena said that he was so tired of people saying that he only had 5 moves. And I said, "Wow, John, you only had 5 moves too. Amazing what the amazing
You're in
what
good
those
company.
yeah, amazing what those 5 move guys can fucking pull when they just use those 5 moves. Obviously, it's not the moves, the amount of moves of the move set that makes or breaks your career.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I do want to give a shout out to Karrion Kross because he did a spot where he was selling his leg. It was being kicked by AJ throughout the match. And then later on, he goes to whip him to the ropes and he falters on the leg and he falls. He doesn't hit the ropes. Now, it turns out he's playing possum and he goes on the offense. But when I saw it, I was like, smart. A little psychology there.
He's a good worker.
Yeah, you don't see it much. Um,
I,
you
I think they could. I think they could get some mileage out of him. I think he's That's the whole problem. Is just so fucking deep that a guy like that isn't getting used as much as he could or would in another era.
We were on the same flight. I was sitting at the airport with him and his lady when we were going to Nashville. Um, very different look. Very had this very clean cut at that time, and looks very different now. All right, where are we here? Cody and
Cody,
John. How we doing this, Booker man?
how am I doing it? If I was booking it, or how are
Well,
they going to do it?
how will it happen? And then tell me whether you agree with it or not.
I think they're going to do what I would do. I think that Cena goes over, and then because the money is always going to be with the babyface chasing the heel.
But can you close WrestleMania weekend with who they're positioning as the current hot, most hated heel, getting
Not
their hand raised?
only the only way you can do that if it is John Cena.
Mm-mm. And he walks out of the ring a heel.
Yeah,
Clean pin or some shenanigans?
I don't. No, he's not going to fucking get it. It won't be a clean pin.
Okay.
There could be layers. There could be something that comes out of the first night with Punk and them that slides into that like there could be layers that triple dance with uh, Punk, Rollins, and Roman could be just a setup for a finish.
So with Cena having the belt, they're